Hey AfterBuzzers, you're tuned into the SNL AfterBuzz After Show. We're going to break down the sketches each sketch, one by one. And then we're going to talk about our favorites. We're going to dissect a sketch. Amy's going to do that. And we're going to talk about how good Jonah Hill was hosting and how Maggie Rogers was cool too. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh, Ariana.
We're throwing the shade.
Yep. He was too nice, so we're throwing some shade.
Yeah, we still love Pete.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're back. We're back. Took a little break because SNL did.
We decided.
Yeah.
We told them we needed the break.
Yeah.
Lauren, we're exhausted.
We called him on the AfterBuzz phone. Like, hey Lauren? Yeah, no, just give us a few weeks. I'm Kelly McInerny, and here's my also awesome.
I'm very
Co-host.
awesome, Steph Sabraw.
I'm also Amy Maestri.
Killing it. Jonah Hill, Maggie Rogers. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. What, do you guys have any expectations? Are you guys Jonah Hill fans?
I love Jonah Hill.
I love that man.
Really?
Love that goofy man.
I hate him. Like, my favorite part of This Is the End was just showing how much of a dick he was, and then him just getting killed by the,
Wait, that's
That
so
was-
surprising.
I don't know.
Do you like Seth Rogen?
Yeah.
Who, according to the cold
Candace.
open, and Candace are basically the same thing.
Same person.
I love Jonah Hill. I just actually finished Maniac, and he's said
did like Maniac.
Everyone said he's gonna win the Oscars or like sweep the awards this year with his newest movie coming out.
Mid-90s?
Yeah.
I saw that, actually, too, because I've got AMC A-List. You get to see 3 movies a week for $20 a month. Any movies, it could be 3D. They're not paying me for this. I love it that much. But it wasn't that, it was good. I think it's because I had low expectations for it, because I'm not a huge Jonah fan. I don't know why. Like, I like everything he's in. He just annoys me.
I feel that way about a lot of people, so I get that. I really did like this episode, though. It didn't hit on every point, like we kind of were talking about before, and we'll get into with each sketch that happened. And I was surprised by the artist. I wasn't familiar with Maggie, but she was really cool.
Same, yeah.
I think it would have been dope if they'd booked Ariana.
Oh, so good. We're just waiting for them to book her again. That'd be so good. I was surprised it was his fifth time, but we'll get into that with the monologue. Cold opening, the Ingram angle. Guys, no Trump.
Well, yeah, I think Alec Baldwin was a little busy.
They might have had to switch that one like last minute.
Had some stuff going on.
Is he in jail?
He was booked.
arrested.
He was
He was
booked, I'm not
arrested,
sure.
yeah.
But when you're that rich,
Yeah,
you
he's
can get
Alec
out.
Baldwin. He's not in jail.
But
roaming the streets.
I really liked this. At first, when I saw just the first shot, and I saw a blonde woman, I was like, "Are they gonna do Megyn Kelly?" But Laura Ingraham is
Great.
really not a good person. Like, she was the one who made fun of the Parkland High School kids after the shooting. Like, she's just horrible. But of course, she did. It was such a good impersonation of her, and I do like that they touched on the caravan a lot, because the way that they're talking about the caravan in Fox News and other like conservative news sites is so obnoxious. Like, they're talking about like, this is the biggest fear. There's Middle Easterners and whatever. They're like 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I liked that they actually stayed on that subject. So often in the cold opens now, they're just like, let's say everything that happened this week that's terrifying in the news. And they shove it all into one sketch. And I think this is such a great thing that they can stay on, because they could escalate it properly and talk about like how crazy it is. Like you said, like at the end with Kenan coming on being like, well, yeah, they're 800 miles away. So if they walk the average pace of 300 miles a day, they're going to be here to vote. Like, I like the way that they were able to take this to that place of crazy that's just like, where are they getting this coverage from, and that they stayed on that same path the whole time. Thank God for once.
Yeah.
They did that.
And they still sprinkled in like some fun stuff. Like I love the sponsors.
Yes.
Yeah.
White Castle.
I wrote, that's what I wrote down, the Truth Eagle gun, like, killed me. Operation Eagle with a large dong. It was, those ads were so funny, and they did do a good job of doing like the ads and making it just a joke, but also talking about kind of the whole manipulation behind Fox News, saying that is to say we have an immigration problem and they're gonna vote and change our system and all this BS. So they did a good job of just exposing something in a funny way.
Yeah. I agree. The monologue. Now, we were talking about this before the show started, and we're split about it a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty fun because I always like when they go into the Five Timers Lounge, and I like when they have celebrity guests, and if they do it well. Like I thought Candice Bergen was I just want to see a wasted old lady. She wasn't wasted, but like, you know. And Drew Barrymore was great. I like how they played on the whole like Me Too movement and everything. I thought it was like a fun twist from like their basic like just A to B sketches. They kind of like escalated, like it's Five Timers, but it's only girls because of all these issues. Why weren't you a fan, Steph?
I as soon as I saw Tina Fey, and then I knew that I like when they go off location a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be great, and it still was fun because we have like an all-star room of people.
Yeah.
I just think there was way too much card reading, like very obviously, when I think it could have been more of a flow of discussion, and it just didn't hit. It felt kind of awkward to me, but I was still in love with the people in the room.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree about the cue cards. It was kind of rough a couple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, to Kelly's point of like how it was almost like a sketch, I was like, oh, they like presented a game within 2 seconds of the monologue. That's fun.
Yeah.
Like you knew exactly where the monologue was going as soon as it was like all the ladies in there and kind of attacking Jonah at times, and then like it going to the point of him saying, I need the jacket, or I need the jacket. Yeah.
I love that they played on jacket.
Yeah. But it was also just fun getting to hear them talk about like the legit like nicest dudes in Hollywood. Like oh yeah, Tom Hanks and Steve Martin not having consent to play the banjo. Like, these guys that are just like the nicest guys in Hollywood, and hearing them just kind of like tear into them. But I thought it was fun the way that they played with it, and any excuse to see Tina.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I just wish the waiter wasn't Kenan.
Well, agreed. And yeah, again, another joke about how Kenan's been there forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
We don't
true.
like you.
And it's not one of those gags that's good, you know?
Yeah.
It is kind of getting... Because it would be one thing if he wasn't in every sketch, but he is in every sketch this season so far, basically. But side note, I really do want one of those 5-timer jackets.
Yeah, oh my god. Well, Jonah Hill is so good too at his reactions in comedy, like his facial reactions, and like when he's feeling uncomfortable, that's where he's like really with Candace was saying that he shines with the bathroom humor.
Yeah.
I feel like his reactions, like he's really great with. So just like kind of the way that he was so uncomfortable with the jacket was like very endearingly funny, I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, those jackets are dope.
Adam. I keep saying Alex. Adam Grossman, 6 years old. This is like a reoccurring thing. Like he's done it before. Man, I love it.
I love it.
I love the sock hand joke. The sock left hand. No, I make sock puppets. So funny. Just wish Leslie would just not break. Just once.
Well, that's why I was, as soon as I saw her, I was like, God, it's just, you can't put her next to something that's such a strong character. And Jonah tends to break during these sometimes, too, just because it's so silly and ridiculous, and you can tell he has a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
So I was like, immediately, I was just like, oh, Leslie's not going to make it through half of this. Like,
Yeah. I love this character that he does, and it's very Adam Sandler-esque, like that kind of Billy Madison type humor. And the way he gets so into it and changes his voice and how they put him on a shorter stool, I'm just obsessed with. And I did actually like the conversation with talking about like a gay couple and explaining that to a 6-year-old who is also a 40-year-old, essentially at the same time.
But he had a 6-year-old perspective on it, like, my best friend, we can get married.
That was my favorite. He was just like, that's genius. I gotta talk to my buddy about this. Like, again,
I'm top. He bought him on the bunk beds. I'm sick.
That killed me. They didn't end it there. That was the button. That was the last joke.
Yeah.
But they always go one joke too long. And they had to do the joke about Leslie saying something about where she's going. I was just like, why are you still talking?
Yeah.
That had such good momentum. It was such a big laugh line. It was the funniest of the sketch. And then they just kept talking. And I was like, why are you still going?
Yeah, shut
Always one
up.
too long.
Yeah, but it was still fun. Vote, please. This I just wrote what everyone feels like right now. Right.
Totally. I love the line. It captured every perspective of kind of the non-Republican side, essentially. So you have Leslie saying white women promise to do the right thing this time, and then people like trying to yell at their kids that it's not funny, that like you do have to vote. And I did really like this, especially because I do feel it physically. Like I've been like telling everyone, like it's the day after tomorrow could come if we don't come out with wins.
Like, this was very reminiscent of like right after Trump won. Those kinds of sketches where you're just like, that is how I feel now. Like, it just like speaks to you on a different level. But yeah, just their overall fear in this. And yeah, like Heidi yelling at her kids was great. Like, go inside till Tuesday. Yeah. But just because it is like so much of what we're feeling right now. And I gotta say, even though I really liked the cold open this time, their digital shorts politically have been so much better than their cold opens, and it's because they're not being like as on the nose. They're not just taking the headlines and like putting them into character voices. They're taking that point of view and they're doing something different with it, you know? Like they're taking a feeling from people and putting it into a sketch. Where I feel like their cold opens are so hit or miss with that, but their digital stuff politically has been like flawless for a while now, I think.
Yeah, I agree. They've been killing it. I don't know why they can't figure that out themselves.
I do have to say, Ben, like his part in this wasn't that big, but it just was a reminder when he was like sweating at the end.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Dude, how hilarious he is.
Yeah. I liked AD beating up Pete. Being like, don't joke about that. That was great.
So I think it let us all just kind of like let out that fear, and we're all like laughing about it now. I feel like we're all very nervously laughing too.
Yeah.
This is so funny. It's not Tuesday yet. We don't know what's gonna happen.
We feel like that too. And it's gonna be fine. Oh man, we're gonna do the news later. The news sketch, not update. You guys know what I'm talking about. Divided we stand. I know, Amy, this is up your alley. Because you love all the theater things. What'd you think of it?
I do. It reminded me so much of, like whenever they have the kids at like a high school try to like be poignant and relevant and just completely miss the mark. And I think this was so smart to do it with adults too. And just be like, adult white people are real stupid sometimes too. It's not just kids. Yeah. I think the thing that sells it for me on these is the way that they break it up, like when they do the reviews. Also, some of my favorites, dangerously oversimplified. And then just the New York Times, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I think it's just such a great premise, and it's always well executed when they do it, because it is funny to see people trying really hard to like, they're coming from a good place, but they just execute it so poorly and it just goes awry, and that's always going to be very funny to me.
And the whole part about like what's your issue and someone in their playbook wrote,
I just think
divorced parents.
What is it with not issue, but what is
how are you diverse?
Yeah. Oh man.
It was very a nice kind of play on Hamilton and Lin-Manuel
That was
being the director.
Yeah, Jonah Hill as Lin.
Like the line of like whose parent paid for this? And because it totally is like you can see this. Like they paint such a vivid picture with like just what they're doing with that musical that like it's totally a bunch of like 20 and 30 something hipsters from like Bushwick that put this together, and someone's parent paid for it, and this is the disaster that it is, and I enjoyed it very much.
Teacher fell. I just wish Kate went harder. Does that make sense? Like,
it didn't hit for me. I agree. Maybe it was Kate, but it's hard for me to ever blame her because she was still funny. I don't know. What do you guys think was missing?
It was also short too, right? It was pretty quick.
I was the whole time I was like, am I missing something?
Yeah.
I think this is good, but I don't think it is at the same time, and I'm not sure. But yeah, like I think it's a funny idea that like this teacher like makes a whole dramatic monologue out of like falling down.
Teacher falling.
The
teacher fell.
Yeah, teacher fell. Teacher fell further.
Yeah.
I think that her pacing on it was very interesting to me, and like that's kind of what made me laugh was just because it was so weird, like that they're making a whole thing. Like I want to see the pitch for this sketch. Like a teacher has the rolly skate shoe things, and then she falls.
And then she falls further.
She becomes spoken word.
I thought her phrasing and her pacing were very interesting to me, and I enjoyed it. I'm not really sure why, but I still did.
You just love Kate.
I think
Probably why.
That's what it comes. That's it.
I think I always expect her to go like so big, so when she did this, I was like waiting for her to basically like explode. You know, like do something crazy.
She couldn't. She fell down.
I know, but she's got voices.
You can do voices on the ground.
I don't know. Update, always a great thing aside from Kenan. Man, let's talk about Pete though.
Yes.
Now you watch SNL just to see if Pete is on Update. That's what I do now.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
I feel like he's done something on every Update this season, right?
Yeah.
Almost, I'd say.
I feel like there might be one that he missed. I know he did the premiere.
And then
he's almost. I'm pretty sure he's done at least 3 out of 4, if not 4 out of 4. Yeah.
So good. Just roasting people by their looks.
And then roasted himself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vape juice in a bathtub.
It was like that classic humor that they haven't really hit. Like it was unique and metaphorical, and they just haven't been doing that. And it made me really excited about Pete's career moving forward.
Yeah.
And even though we brought up the Ariana thing, I think that they're both mutually in a good place where, I mean, it is kind of embarrassing and it just didn't work out, and he was really sweet about it, which I liked. He wasn't like a bitter D-bag about it. And instead, I feel like she came out with an absolute banger that it was really cool and basically said she's going to focus on herself. And I feel like we're seeing the same transition with him. Like, he's genuinely hilarious.
Yeah.
And he just has so much fun with what he's doing, which is why I think he's so great to watch. Like, is he the best sketch comedian? No. He's not great at all at it, but he's so enjoyable to watch because you can just see how much fun he's having with it. Yeah. And you can just tell, like, that man is just, like, funny to his core. Yeah. So it's just enjoyable to watch him every time.
And it's, like, personable. Like, there's something about him that's endearing. And he looks like a little punk or whatever, but you love him. Like, he's such a little cutie, too, you know?
I think there's something, like, to Steph's point about, like, this just being, like, fun, like, them just getting to go after people, but, like, in a very fun, silly way.
Yeah.
And he's really good at just, like, being so specific in his, the one with Cuomo, what was I wrote down? The guy who sleeps with your mom, then sleeps over, and then has breakfast with you in his boxers, and then asks about how the baseball's going, and then you say you don't play baseball, and then he calls you a queer. Like, he's like, that's so specific.
Yeah.
But as soon as he said it, I go, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. You just saw him doing it the whole time.
Side note though, on the person running for office with the eye patch, who is a vet, he's a Navy vet. I know Fox is already like calling it like abhorrent that he did it. I'm like, he wasn't making fun of that he was a vet. He was just stating the facts. Like, and I told my roommate, and this is kind of messed up, but like, you picked that design of the eye patch. Like, it didn't have to be so
like that, like a villainous.
Also, just a quick reminder that comedians make jokes, therefore creating comedy that people can laugh at and find humor in a terrible, terrible world right now. So just a reminder of what comedy and jokes are.
Wait, is that what it means?
I know, it's weird. I looked it up before the show tonight, just in case.
Kelly never says anything offensive. She doesn't understand this.
I'm an angel. They call me the Angel Kelly.
The angel comedian Kelly.
Yeah. I also thought he looked like very sad when he was saying he lives with his mom. Like, did something truth like that? I think that's why we like him, because there's a lot of truth in his comedy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
It's like that Kevin Hart slogan, like, laugh at my pain. It's his way of being like therapeutic about it, but it's a good reminder to not take everything so dang seriously.
Yeah.
Like, we all do ugly stuff and have weird things happen and sad things happen, but
yeah. Every teen girl murder suspect in Law and Order, Melissa! Yeah.
This is the Melissa we've been waiting for since you two.
Yes. Oh, perfect. Like, I love the juxtaposition of like yeah, her whole dialogue is about killing a guy. I don't do book reviews. I don't know. What do you think of it?
I loved it.
So good.
As soon as they did the Law and Order bit and she started getting into it, I'm like, is she really she really is exposing almost every single like young person that gets interrogated and like their process of coming out with it, and just her ability to completely change character, like her, because you forget what her voice sounds like in person. Like, she has like a Michelle Wolf type voice. Like, you cannot. It's very distinct in that she can totally let go and become. Her voice isn't like making fun of someone. It sounds like someone that the person she's trying to be.
It's absolutely insane the way that she can morph like that. And I think these kinds of characters, I almost thought it was going to be Cecily, because she always has really long character names that are very like character specific on like a certain like archetype from a movie or something. And I was so excited to see Melissa though. And this is like so like that was a clinic on how to take an idea from a show or like a specific character that you always see and turn it into something else, like Heidi's the girlfriend to every boxer in a movie, and like things like that. Or Cecily's done a lot of like the romantic characters, the girl at the party, the girl at the party. Like, this is another one of those characters that's so well done. She picks all the right moments to talk about her catchphrase of like, that's it, okay, after everything she says. I just absolutely fell in love with this one. I want to see it again.
Yeah, me too. So good. And her facial expressions, she was great.
Oh yeah.
I also liked, we went to big alcohol party at Carrie's house. The one time you don't want to be specific, that's perfect. You don't need the specifics in that one. We went to alcohol party. That's it, okay?
We had a keg. David Ortiz, Kenan.
Pass.
Yeah, what, you got anything to say, Steph? I kind of zoned. I was like, whatever. I don't like the Red Sox either, so I was just double negative.
Kenan and Boston.
Yeah,
I think it's I don't really like the Red Sox either. My roommate enjoyed this. It's not, what I did enjoy about it is that it is like, I think the only character he really does change his voice for and stays in that voice. He still has I think he does a good job with it. I just am not in love with the character. So. And
it's just overdone.
Yeah.
Like, that, I think it's overdone because it's the only one he does change. So like, oh, well, you could do that again. You're good at that. I don't know. Any fun jokes? I liked The Faithful Patriot. And I love learning about Ja Rule and 50 Cent's feud. It's so good.
50 Cent reposted it, and he goes, "What do I do now?" # get the strap, which he always does. But he is known for being the pettiest person, and you never want to get in a fight with him in beef because he will literally roast you in any way possible. And the fact that he really did that is is amazing. It is amazing.
Hilarious. I love it. It just makes me want to be friends with him.
I know. I think I laughed out loud at that, like, louder than I did at some of the jokes in this episode.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I did love the joke when they were talking about just go back to Ohio and vote, Megan. Because I know, like, we always talk about that. Like, obviously in LA, like, we're all transplants for the most part from, like, other places. Yeah. And so I loved that joke of, you know why those states stay so red? Because they keep sending their kids to all the coastal cities to study improv.
Oh my God.
So true.
I love that one, and I can laugh at it because I'm from New York and I moved to California, so either way,
Yeah.
blue.
You're coastal.
Same.
So true.
Jersey, Cali. Jersey, Cali.
Yeah.
We're safe. We're safe.
I liked
And I do stand up.
not improv.
I did sign up for Groundlings again.
Ooh,
I am.
Tell me how that is. I thought both Colin and Michael, of course, had great bits. I did like the Megyn Kelly, and then how she's taking her time off at the spa, and then it has a charcoal mask, which looks like blackface.
Yeah. So funny. The next sketches. This is where I feel like, well, I guess it slowly petered off after Vote Please for me. But then, like, America's Got Talent. I feel like you could have had so much more fun with this because it could have been a parade of characters, you know? I love Nell.
Oh, that's a good point. It definitely could have been that.
Yeah.
Because this is where that's their strong suit, the character parade.
Yeah.
Could have just did that bigger and harder, but it was just like, oh, you're good. Oh, you're surprisingly good. Oh, I don't know. What do you think?
The only thing that they did that was different was, like, the guy in the coma gets up and sings.
Yeah.
And it's also, this was produced very oddly to me. It just felt off from beginning to end. Like, sometimes they would, like, put, like, the promo thing in too quickly, and then they did so much narration for no reason.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a funny narration where they were doing, like, ads for stuff on, like, Laura Ingram's show, or, like, there was no real point to it. It almost just felt forced to do it that often. Mm-hmm. And then, it never went anywhere with it. I thought the same. I was like, oh, this is going to be funny, especially because Jonah Hill came out so strong with that first, like, little, like, timid cowboy character.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And then it was, just the same thing over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And Melissa, too, I thought she was good.
Yeah.
Because she's a great singer, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was like, I forgot that she can sing like that. My high point was Kyle Mooney as Howie Mandel. Anytime they put a bald cap on someone, I think that's funny.
Oh, man. Hucka PM. This was great, but I just wish there was more of it.
I could watch 80 fall over 100 times.
Her as Sarah Huckabee Sanders is just never gonna get old. It is such a great execution and, like, use of a character. Like, 80 can definitely morph into a similar character as her, and it is true. How do you sleep at night? Like, that is such. They probably were saying that, and they were like, let's make a sketch. I feel like that's how the sketch came about, but anyone in the administration you could really say that about, but especially her because she has to go on TV and lie to America every single day. And the Hucka, just it was called Hucka PM, and every time this, like, woman was just knocked out no matter where she was.
I had to pause it and go back because I was just, like, giggling so much. I was like, I know I'm missing good things right now, but the way that she just commits to the fall every time, I mean, she is just a bag of bricks on each one of those falls. And I think from everything to her voice and then her physicality in this, like, it's all just so well done. And I like that they opened it up with, like, how people ask me how I sleep at night all the time. Like you said, kind of, I think where they kind of came up with this sketch, but I'm gonna go home and probably watch it 5 more times.
I think they came up with it with the name. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they were brainstorming. Oh, Hucka PM. Then they with a name like that.
It is a perfect name,
right?
I mean, I would buy that.
Yeah,
medication.
I'd be like, this definitely would work.
I would try and fight being awake. You know, sometimes you do a drug. Never mind.
Well,
that's
you're
in
just
so
like,
many movies.
I also just have to say that in this one, I absolutely loved that it was smart at the same time as it was just being silly and physical. Like the lines that she was saying, like when she was in the press conferences and she's like, we got to pack up those babies and go. All right, thanks, people. And like, the things that she was saying were just like equally as terrible as you would imagine coming out of her mouth. And like really smart, well-written dialogue mixed in with just cracking up because you're watching Edie fall down a flight of stairs, fall down a flight of stairs, or any of it in there. But I think whenever they can mix smart comedy like that with just like silly pratfalls like that,
A+. Not A+. Pug wigs. Very cute. Very cute.
they were adorable.
But it's just like, I get it. It's always cute to see a dog dressed up, you know?
It's true.
But maybe escalate the scene a little bit. Have multi-level jokes, you know, A to Z it. Not just like, here's another one. Here's another, like, or what's the drug front? You know, what's the front?
Yeah.
What'd you guys think?
It was funny to me just because of the premise of it. Like, you're like, you buy into anything with dogs, or and I thought about Elizabeth Alfonso on this, where I'm like, they were handling the dogs well. Like, all of them carried the dogs well, so I didn't see any problem on that end. And it is a funny premise. Like, I would definitely retweet a photo of a pug with hair.
Oh, yeah.
And probably buy my existent pug wig, but it didn't go anywhere for me.
Yeah. I think I always like if Cecily's in a sketch with dogs too, because she is like a huge dog and animal lover. So I'm like, Cecily's got them. She's got them. We're good. But yeah, I think this was a mix of two different sketches for me. I thought they were trying to do Kate's cat thing.
That's what I thought too.
Where they're talking about all the cats, but that's funny because they're talking about weird specifics about the cats' lives and backstories, and Kate's character is very memorable and weird and different and specific, whereas these characters are characters you've seen all the time, so they're not necessarily memorable in that way, which is why, I think they should have done more with the drug front stuff, or kind of like incorporate that more somehow. And it was a mix of that, and when Scarlett Johansson comes on and hosts, and
Chandelier.
she does, this one, or this one, or this one,
Yeah.
like, because it was like that New Yorker thing, but, so I almost felt like it was a combination of those two sketches, but not as good as either of them, so I was kind of confused by it, but yeah, I love pugs, so that was fun.
Yeah.
I think the Larry David was my favorite.
I like the Tina Turner. People thought I was Tina Turner on Halloween if they didn't know who David Bowie in the Labyrinth was. It was really funny.
You were like, please don't tell everyone that I was Tina Turner.
No, I thought
please don't tell anyone.
I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, this hilarious that you think I'm Tina Turner. Does she wear tight gray pants? She doesn't wear any pants. She's Tina. She wears heels.
She doesn't
Whatever.
wear pants. She's Tina Turner.
Yeah. Maggie Rogers was the musical guest. She was cute. What did you guys think?
I didn't know anything about her going into it.
Yeah.
I liked it though. I was digging it, but I had not heard her music before this, but I like her.
Is she on the radio?
Yeah,
Or she-
I mean, I would think so. Like, she has a good following. Like, I definitely creeped her because I thought it was really cool. I looked at her and I was like, she has one of those really old beauty faces, like the 70s look.
Yeah,
like,
she does.
You don't, like, you would think, like, if you just described her aesthetic, you'd be like, okay, like, she sounds like what we see every day. But when you look at her, you're like, that was a still shot. I would think that was taken in the 70s. And her whole
outfit too.
Yeah, her outfit, her voice, the way she moved with the music was really feeling the music, which I loved, and it was really fun to watch her. Like, she definitely won me over, especially by the second song.
Yeah.
I was like, let me download this on Apple Music.
No, agreed. That's a good point. Man, well, Kelly, at first I was laughing at you for asking if she's on the radio.
I'm like, I don't listen to that. I have Apple Music.
Maybe that's valid because I think she may have just like time traveled here from the 70s. So.
Yeah. She looks like it. Amy, how about you bring us into our special segment?
My favorite.
And break down the KCR News Albany sketch for us.
Okay, I will. So yeah, this is where I either talk about how great a sketch was or I tear it to shreds, and I'm kind of gonna do both with this one. So the premise ended up on this one being that a guy comes onto a local news show to propose to his girlfriend, and it seems like it's going terribly awry because she's not into it, and then we find out that she actually wanted to propose to him. I thought it was such a funny concept that I wanted them to get to sooner. Because at first I was like, oh, it's another thing where they're just going to be like a bunch of garbage people doing the news. Like, they were all just like had something terrible to say that was like, you're like, oh, you're not a good person. Oh, you're not a good person. And I was like, so, okay, we've seen this before, but okay, we'll see if it gets good. And then the boyfriend comes on and proposes to the woman who just ran someone over on her way here. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And I preferred that storyline. So I was happy they went into that. I think this was one of those sketches, though, that falls like victim to doing too many things at once. There were like multiple different premises going on at the same time with strong characters kind of fighting for the spotlight too. I loved the idea of having Jonah Hill come over wearing the green shirt.
Oh, I love that.
And like, you know, getting like blanked out like that. I hate when people have to explain a joke in case people aren't aware about the green shirt, but I get why they have to do that sometimes when Kenan actually had to say like, oh, why would he wear a green shirt? Now he's in front of a green screen. Like, it kind of pains me whenever I hear a joke explained in a sketch, but I get it's necessary sometimes. But yeah, so I felt like they had trouble finding their footing within the sketch, but that idea killed me, and the fact that she still at the end like had everything go ready to propose to him, I thought was a fun ending. I just was confused by a lot of it too often. I just felt like they were like, this is a funny thing, let's do this. No, wait, this is a funnier thing, let's do this. Like, it was just kind of all over the place for me. But I think the dynamic between Cecily and Jonah helped it a lot too, because they both sold it so well. Like, you just felt like very uncomfortable for both of them at a lot of times, and I think their execution of it ended up saving it at parts too.
Cool. I agree.
I do have to say this and the 6-year-old sketch, Adam Grossman, really showed like why I love when he hosts, because I think he does sell his character so well, and he was so desperate and like in love with her.
It's weird though, because I felt like in the monologue he was out of it, like I felt like he was kind of like, at least in the beginning when he was introducing, like just talking like, I'm in the 5-timers club, you know. It's like, care. Do something, but care. Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. It's a fun episode. Next week, Liev Schreiber and Lil Wayne. That's gonna be fun.
That will be fun.
I think I would love to see Lil Wayne in a little sketch.
Yes, I think he will.
See what you did there.
You got it? You got it?
Smart.
That was so funny.
Well, thank you so much.
No, I actually think Kelly and Amy are like the funniest people ever.
Again, we get this all the time. It's like too much.
I'm just sandwiched in it.
But until next week, where can you find you guys on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Steph Sabraw.
You can find me on those places as well at Amy Maestri.
And I'm Kelly McInerny. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo. Bye. See you next week.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.